Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing A Village Murder, written by Frances Evesham. It's the first in a cozy mystery series, and it reminds me of a classic village murder mystery in England. And I do like books, movies, TV shows, anything of that subgenre. English village murder mysteries. I just love them. Can't get enough of them. Think of Midsummer Murders and possibly Agatha Raisin, although that's very humorous. Midsummer Murders is a bit more serious, with slight little bits of humour through it. So this book reminds me of Midsummer Murders very much. It is a great character-driven book, so the characters are very good in this book. The mystery, not so much. And here's the book cover. So I really enjoyed this for the characters. I think the mystery could have been stronger. I'm hoping that future books in the series are much stronger. I enjoyed this enough to want to read more in the series. One of our main characters, Imogen Bishop, has moved back to Lower Hembro. Her father died recently. She's back there for the funeral and also to just work out what she's going to do with her father's hotel. He ran a hotel. She's not sure if she wants to keep it, she wants to sell it, and she's trying to get through all that at the moment. She's also a landscape gardener by trade, and she seems quite popular. She has a job in the area as well that she's doing at the same time. During the wake from her father's funeral, they're running out of food, so she decides to go to an old hothouse that's now used as a storage shed to get more food. Adam Hennessy, who was a police officer, he's now retired and he runs the pub across the road from the hotel. He goes out to help her. They're trying to open the door to the hothouse and they can't get in. Something's blocking the way of the door. They do get in and they find a body. The body on the ground, and it's Imogen's ex-husband, Greg. So we're thrown into the murder mystery almost immediately in this book. And I do like that because there's no slow lead in. And some cozy mystery books I've read have very slow lead ins, and sometimes it takes almost 100 pages to get to the first murder. So I did appreciate that we got to the first murder straight away in this book. Then the pace just went on fast from there. And unfortunately, because it's happened so quickly in this book, I can't discuss a lot about the plot from this moment, because there's some twists and turns that happen and surprises that happen very early on in this book. And if you want to read this book, I don't want to spoil them for you. I will say that in this book, the mystery element isn't that strong. But what I did like about this, that some cozy mysteries don't do, is it's a little bit darker, but it focuses on the investigation very much and in more detail than a lot of cozies do. So even though the characters are driving this story a lot, and there's some great characters in this story, this also focuses on the investigation a lot. And in quite a bit of detail, we see both characters, both Adam and Imogen at different times, and sometimes together, focusing on certain clues, talking to people, but in more detail than most cozies do. There are other things going on in this plot that tie into the murder investigation. We have a school reunion, and it is for Imogen's class. And there are a lot of classmates of hers. Some of them were ex-friends, and they're all converging on the local area. Some have come back to live. Some are already there sorting out, things for their own parents, putting parents in aged care homes or helping them sort out certain things. So some of them are already in the area and have been for some time. And that's news to Imogen because nobody reached out to her to let her know. And Imogen starts to wonder, could one of her old classmates be responsible for her ex-husband's death? They knew each other very closely when they were teenagers. A big event happened, a big moment when they were teenagers, and they started to fall apart a bit. But could one of them be responsible for his death? So Imogen's trying to sort through that. The reason she's trying to do that is because the police suspect her, because being the ex-wife of Greg, they think she did him in. And there's evidence pointing to that. And one of the big things, of course, is that his body was found in the hotel grounds, and she now runs the hotel. She's also finding out things about her father, things she kind of knew but never had evidence for. But now they seem to be firming up in her mind a bit, and some of the things are quite shocking to her, but they all tie into the past of when they were teenagers, and then a little bit later on when they were university age as well. And it's interesting in this book And what I did like about this book is that when we learn about the past, there are not big chunks of past, big chapters of them. It's all tied in to the present day story, present day timeline. And we just learn about the past as the present day story goes on in the book. And I did like that about this because it's my preferred way of storytelling. But despite the complexity of bringing in the past, different stages of the past into the present day timeline and that mystery of who murdered her ex-husband Greg, despite that, the mystery still needed more. And with the conclusion of the mystery, I needed it to tie in to the main mystery more. I felt like it didn't. It just didn't gel very well. And I felt like it was just a constructed conclusion from nothing, really. There's nothing through the body that makes you wonder, aha, there were moments in the book that tie into that. It just feels like something was plucked out of thin air and created as a conclusion that didn't gel with the rest of the mystery. That was a bit disappointing, and that makes me think that the mystery element in this series may not be the strongest point, and the characters are very strong. I'm hoping, though, that in future books in the series, the mystery becomes a bit stronger and makes sense all the way through the book. Imogen Bishop, one of our main characters, is written very well. We get her history. Her history makes sense to who she is now in the book. It all meshes very well, her past and her present. And I thought this character was very interesting. One point I liked is that she's a landscape gardener and she's into her plants in her gardening, because I like plants and I like gardening, and that was just a bonus for me to have a character like that, and I engaged with that in this character very much. Also, as she's going through this book, she has different aspects to her. She's clever, she's charming sometimes, she's got a lot of courage at different times as well. She also has some flaws, and they come out, and she admits to those flaws as well through the book, and that makes her seem very human, very lifelike, and it just makes me think this author constructs characters very well. Adam Hennessy, who's the retired police officer who now runs the pub across the road from the hotel, he's another good character. And one of the things I liked about this character is that while he's investigating the crime and helping out Imogen, this investigation is not his main aspect. It's a big aspect, but he has so many different facets to him, and they're all explored in this book. So that makes him feel more real, because we see him in different parts, in different settings and scenes in this story. So he's more real, more lifelike, and he's got flaws as well, and he admits to them, but he's got good aspects as well. So he's another character that's constructed very cleverly. He feels real, he feels well-rounded, he just feels like a real person, and I really enjoyed Adam in this book. Maria Bystrova, she is as close as we come to an eccentric in this book. And on the back of the book, it promised many eccentrics, but we didn't get many eccentrics. We got Maria, and she is eccentric in some ways, but not totally. She is a bit odd, but she's the comic relief as well in this book. So all cozies tend to have a character that's a bit comic relief. So Maria plays that part in this book. I don't know if she'll play the same part in other books in the series, because I haven't read any more in the series yet. But she's an interesting character because she's very charming, but she's also a bit conniving, a bit sneaky, knows how to get away, how to talk people into doing things for her. And that's where her eccentricity lies. So I'm wondering if her character gets developed more and more as the series goes on, or if we get other people popping out in the village as well, and their eccentricities come to light. So that'll be interesting to see what this series is like. But Maria in this book is a very good character. She's investigated a little bit, but she's a great support character in this book. I did enjoy this read. I enjoyed it enough to make me want to read more in the series. I rated it a 3 out of 5. And that's because of the characters mainly. The characters are described and created so well. The mystery itself, while it was very engaging at the start and it really drags you in at certain parts throughout the book, the conclusion didn't tie in with the main mystery so well. So that downgraded the mystery element for me a little bit. So it's the characters that really stand out so much in this book. On my channel, I do review a lot of cozy mysteries. If you don't want to miss out on those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a cozy mystery playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.